I make noise about noise. That is, I am an activist. Activism started with noise. But I have moved over to a little bit more than just the noise aspect of it, because I have decided to have transportation as the key thing, where a little bit of engineering is also involved. In a city where even today public transport, that is primarily the railway system, has approximately 8 to 10 people getting killed on an average every day, cannot be ever good state. Although I would call it that the system is working really very well. If it did not, then Mumbai would not be thriving as it is, economically, otherwise too. The problem is inadequacy of capacity. And by capacity, not the day capacity, we had to look at the peak hour, peak period capacity per hour, number of people per hour that it can carry. Right now, the railways carry about 3,60,000 persons per hour, north-south. And there are 2 corridors on the Western Railway and 2 corridors on the Central Railway, and 1 harbour line. When you combine these 5 corridors, it comes to about 3,60,000 persons per hour. Its capacity has been enhanced. Now it is about approximately 1,80,000 persons per hour. So, peak period, it still has a shortage of 1,80,000 persons per hour. These are all approximate, and at different locations it increases a little more, other places it decreases a little more. Railway is the prime mode of transport. Also BEST, which used to be also equally prime, they also have long distance bus routes, but they have moved to supply what you call the feeder lines as a primary mode. They are overcrowded and they are in the traffic. Traffic is moving, peak hour traffic moves at about 10 kilometers per hour. So obviously these buses also move very slowly, and thereby they are running in loss. Not that you expect it to make a profit, but you want it to sustain. That doesn't happen. So suggestions were being made to have bus rapid transit system in Mumbai, but that did not happen either. So because bus rapid transit system per se is approximately 10 times cheaper than metro system. So there's certain degree of vested interests which come into play. Also, you have created an aspiration among people to say that you must travel so in comfort. But looking at things in Mumbai, the full capacity of metro which is planned, that is about 387 kilometers in Mumbai and metropolitan areas too, it is going to be 2041 when it's going to be completed. But when you complete the whole thing at that time, and if you run the trains, 8 coach trains at 3 minutes frequency, then the capacity that it generates will still fall short of the needed 180,000 persons per hour by approximately by 20%. So the crowd will remain in public transport nevertheless. So any hope of getting car people into the public transport, I think we might as well forget, unless we start imposing very heavy congestion tax. And in my opinion, no democratic country should either tax too much to the rich, nor too much stress to the poorer people. So we must see that there is a good balance. so that car people move over to public transport, and the poorer people have adequate public transport capacities, that they don't rush in this manner and we don't have the fatalities, the numbers as we face today. There was a time when the numbers, fatality numbers had gone to 4,000 persons per year. It's very shameful in a democratic country. So in that one coach, there are 4 such places where the density is 16 persons per square meter. That's why people are hanging out. That's why people fall down. So we have to change that, and only way you can change the whole system is by getting the car people onto public transport, and that is possible, in my opinion, only if you provide for car users that exclusivity in public transport. Which is what I have tried to do so in the paper which I have written, which gets car onto the public transport. Premium BRT is what I call. Given the constraints of the size of Mumbai, narrowness, I say that premium BRT should run straight, even before all the metro lines come into play. You run it wherever the metro line is going to be there. And if you wish to reduce the number of buses plying there at a given future date, you may. But why should we wait till 2041 for all the things to get ready? Why should 10 people get killed every day till 2041? I get the feeling that everybody feels that it is an impossible task, and therefore, why really bother about it? That attitude has to be changed. And that's where, after struggling with various possible solutions, I arrived at my paper. And I am trying to title it, Making Commuting in Mumbai Enviable. Play around that. I am looking at a microbus. Microbus is just going to be 1.6 meters wide. It is 300 millimeters less than the wet leased buses. But that 300 millimeters is going to enable that narrow lane near railway stations to have an auto rickshaw pass by. So the traffic doesn't get congested too much. That's one aspect. Even a cyclist can go, a motorcyclist can go. The frequency of this microbus can be controlled to the requirement, because it's narrow, it's not holding up anybody, and thereby nobody else is holding you up. So there will be a continuous flow. One of the things that I have also thought over is try and make a bus lane for this, which will be, say, 3,000 millimeters wide, 3 meters wide. This is 1.6 meters wide. So, since these buses, microbuses, will be traveling at a low speed in congested areas and in dedicated lanes, they need not go at very high speed either. You can allow perhaps cyclists to use that space in their stable. They can have bigger buses for the long distances on highways. And if I am going to have premium BRT, people will be moving over. I expect about 60 to 65% of the car users will move to premium BRT. That gets the speed of the rest of the space going at about 30 kilometers per hour from 10 kilometers per hour. So these BST buses, which may not be in the BRT, may be able to ply at a more efficient way. So a lot of things open up. One of the things that also benefits is the ambulances and fire brigade. So ambulance we need not provide them space in the BRT lanes. They might as well travel in the normal lanes. So they get the flexibility. They will be traveling at 30 kilometers per hour. They are able to reach the destination. But in all these schemes, there's one more scheme which I have provided here. I'm providing aggregated taxi, and I'm calling it premium aggregated taxi. Both premium aggregated taxi as well as the microbus are supposed to be universally accessible vehicles. So people, disabled persons, people in the wheelchair, the elderly, the pregnant women, all these categories can easily travel by public transport. And since the frequency is, it is planned just like you plan a metro, you plan this also, the frequency will have to be high. Spend that money. Get money from car users, create this fund so that this system doesn't collapse, this system works, actually thrives and benefits everybody. The car user who wants to pay the congestion tax, I term it very interestingly, I say that people shall be charged congestion tax for congesting the road which has been uncongested or decongested and to prevent it from recongestion. Today I have reached an age where I find difficulty in using public transport in the condition that it is, but I still try. The timing wise and all those things, I make adjustments. But I want to have a system placed that I am able to walk in there with great pleasure, and if they have implemented, perhaps with great pride that things have been implemented. People should take interest in it. If they want to have it, things will start happening. Jnanam Paramam Dhyayam was what my alma mater had and still has. That arch corridor has that thing written there. But I think at the turn of the century, Professor Sukhatme gave this statement, tryst with excellence.